Shabhavatad Shada Shidomani Kebala Ananda Kanda Kebala Ananda Kanda Parama Koduna Pohudu Ijana Nitai Gura Chandra Dekore Bhai Tribhubane Nai Mona Dayala Data Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Shudrida Bishasha Kori Bishayacharya Bishayacharya Sheikh Roshe Majiya Moke Bolo Hori Hori Moke Bolo Hori Hori Dekore Bhai Tribhubane Nai Mona Dayala Data Poshupaki Jure Poshana Bida De Shuni Jada Guna Gata Shuni Jada Guna Gata Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrida Bishasha Kori Shankara Maji Rohire Pore Ashe Pore Nahi Lo Asha Apana Karam Bunjaye Shaman Kahe Lochana Dasa Kahe Lochana Dasa Padam Koduna Pohudu Vijana Nitai Gura Chandra Jaya Vishnupad Paramhamsa Puribhajagacharya Ashtadara Sri Sriman Avacharnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Protestantacharya Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Kuri Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Johnny Tulula Parishta Shala Bhakti Shrant Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Shri Shakhat Bharaga, Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj Shubha, Dear Bhavtiti Mahamahotshav ki jai, Shamaveda Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Juta Kamalang Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Reganatam Vitangtang Shajivam Sadvaitam Shavadutam Parijinashaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shibishakang Vidangscha Mantra Guru Ajata Shikha Gurgonta Chardane Age Gore Abandon Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Shadashati Deve Gaudamani Pracharne Nirveshesha Namari Pashtadhishtani Hare Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Go Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today is very auspicious. It's the disappearance day of Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and it's just coming. We're coming now to the end of the Kartik month. We're coming to the end of the Chaturmasha Vrata. These last four days are very auspicious, very special. There is the Bhishma Panchak Vrata. If you so desire, you can follow. You can see on the Mayapur social media, His Holiness Srila Ujjayi Pataka Swami Maharaj social media. You can see all of the details for following the Bhishma Panchak Vrata. You can fast all the different levels. Even you can take Habishanna, that's rice and ghee and a little bit of salt and some potatoes in that, so you can take that if you want to take the rice, or you can take the Ekadasi Prasadam for the next few days. And increase your absorption in Krishna consciousness, and after a few days we're coming to the Rosh Punima. The Punima, Rosh Punima, the Kartik month Punima, and that's the final day of Kartik and Chaturmasha. So auspicious. So we're speaking today a little bit, Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he's a renowned Shakshat Vairagya, Srimurtaye. Shakshat Vairagya means that the personification of renunciation. Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he's actually from East Bengal, from Bangladesh, modern day Bangladesh, in the area of Tangail, and I've been to his birthplace, and he came to Navadip to perform bhajan, and he was deeply absorbed in chanting the holy name, and very renounced person. He wasn't interested in any material facilities, in fact, or followers, wealth, fame. He had no interest in, simply interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord. He would chant in the rejected places so that people would not come and disturb him. He would chant in the latrine, the avadut, just so that people wouldn't come and disturb his bhajan and seek blessings and this and that. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the father of Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he advised, instructed Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bimal Prasad at that time, to take the Harinam Diksha mantra from Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Already Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a Shikha Guru of Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In fact, he had given him mantra, and he had, when he was, I think, 7 years old, to worship the Kurma deity, and given him a deity, so he was also a guru, no doubt. And subsequently, he advised Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to take the Harinam Diksha, the Vaishnava Diksha mantra initiation from Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And when Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he requested initiation from Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he wasn't so inclined. He didn't actually want disciples. But Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, so much desire is begging. So then Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj said, okay, I will ask Mahaprabhu. I will ask Mahaprabhu. So then sometime later, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came back to Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj and said, so did you see Mahaprabhu? Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj says, when I see Mahaprabhu, then I will ask. So sometime later, Some week or so later, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came back and said, "So did you see Mahaprabhu?" Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj says, "Yes, I saw him." "So then what did he say about my initiation?" And Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj replied, "I forgot to ask." So Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, "Okay, next time, try and remember." So seeing the determination, the Prana na rakibo. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya prana na rakibo aro. Karuna na hoile, if you do not show your mercy upon me, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing some Gurudev. Karuna na hoile. If you do not show your mercy to me, kandiya kandiya, I will simply weep in despair. Prana na rakibo aro. And I will not maintain my life any longer. In other words, that without your mercy, my life is meaningless. And in this way, the extraordinary Leela, Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj initiated Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Varshabharani Dayata Devi, Varshabharani Dayata Devi gave him the name and instructed him to preach Krishna consciousness and absorb it with no other interest, no other objective in life but to spread Krishna consciousness. And the exalted Prabhupada said the chanting, the bhajan of Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj is delivering the whole world. Actually, we're so fortunate to be able to be initiated in the line of such a Paramahansa Babaji, that completely realized his eternal self and relationship and identity in relation to the Lord, and came here simply to bless this world and to bless ISKCON by being part of our parampara. Today we can meditate on the extraordinary character of Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So our main topic for discussion today is the character and the activities of Srila Kulai Srila Kulai Thakur. So Kulai is a very simple Vaishnav residing here in Navadip Dham. And he was very, it was actually, Kola Becha means a banana seller, banana tree. So let's read, we'll read a little bit from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, 9th chapter of Madhya Lila. And in this chapter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he displays the Asta Paraha Prakash, which means the eight parahas, the 21 hours of Mahaprabhu manifesting his opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead whilst sitting on the altar in the temple of Srivas Thakur. So we know Mahaprabhu, he appeared in Navadip Dham, and in his childhood we've been discussing in these sessions on previous occasions the extraordinary childhood Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, childhood pastimes, Bala Bhab, where he demonstrated on several occasions his opulence, his powers as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. E morte nana bhabe arsharja dekai, Bala Bhab prakatiyo, Pashchat Lukai. He Nana Bhav Arsharja Deka, he demonstrated his Arsharja, his opulence, mystic opulence, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arsharja, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna in the 10th chapter, actually in the 11th chapter, Pasham me Jogam Arsharyam. Krishna explains in the 10th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, that Aham Savasha Prabhava. I am the source of everything. Aham Savasha Prabhava. Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Everything emanates from me, the spiritual and material worlds. Krishna explains this in the 10th chapter. Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. There is no truth superior to me, Krishna explains to Arjuna. So in the 11th chapter, Arjuna actually requests to see, can I see that your opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Can you show me that? And Krishna, he explains, Pasham me jogam ashwaryam, behold my mystic opulence. And he begins to display the Virat Rupa wherein all of the three worlds and the material worlds and all of the creation was seen by Arjuna sitting on the chariot there. So this Virat Rup Darshan. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he demonstrates this for all humanity. Prabhupada comments that that Krishna is adhering to this request of Arjuna to show his universal form, to set a precedent. So there's so many who will come and claim to be God, the God-men, but they're unable to demonstrate the universal form like Krishna demonstrated to Arjuna. So Krishna's purposefully doing this to establish his supremacy as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, Bhagavad Gita is full of the demonstrating the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and clarifying very clearly, conclusively, Dharma Sangstapanataya, Dharma Sangstapon means to establish irrevocably, Sangstapon, Dharma Artaya, for the purpose of establishing reveals himself as the ultimate personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Krishna, whilst he's performing the pastimes in Krishna Leela. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is that same Krishna, Brajendra Nandan Jai, Brajendra Nandan Jai Shachishuta Hoilo Shay. Brajendra Nandan Jai, that darling son of the king of Braj, Shachishuta Hoilo Shay, he's appeared as the son of Sachi Devi in Mayapur. And he is that same Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, in this pastime particularly, he doesn't demonstrate the opulence that he demonstrated in the Krishna past. He doesn't actually present himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but rather he presents himself as a devotee, so that he shows us for different reasons. One reason is to show us how to love Krishna by his own example, and the other reason, another reason is to spread, to preach the Krishna consciousness, preach Bhagavad Bhakti, preach devotion to himself. He becomes a sannyasi and he travels and preaches Krishna consciousness, spreading the holy name. So the Lord personally appears to perform that. That's the responsibility, the duty of the Yuga avatar. He comes and personally preaches Krishna consciousness. So he assumes the form of an ordinary devotee, but a devotee, a sannyasi, in order to do that. That's another reason why he comes in the form of a devotee. And also, in order to experience the Radha Bhav, he accepts the mood of his devotee, Srimati Radharani, in order to taste and experience the pleasure that she feels in loving him. So this is the Chaitanya avatar. Chaitanya doya kora obicha, bicha kore chitte pabe chamatkar. When you consider the context of the Chaitanya avatar, Sri Chaitanya doya kora bicha, when you consider the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearing in this form of a devotee, bicha kore chitte pabe chamatkar, you will be astonished. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we've been hearing how in his childhood pastimes, just like childhood play, he would incorporate, he would engage, he would indulge in his mystic power. He would demonstrate his mystic power as childhood play. Ballabab prakatya. It would manifest in the mood of a child. So one time he was picked up by some thieves and they tried to kidnap him. And he was enjoying, they were taking him on their shoulders. They were already discussing, I'm going to take the anklets, I'm going to take the earrings, so leave the necklaces for me, I'll take the bracelets. They were already discussing the booty, how they were, because the child Nimai was decorated with so many beautiful ornaments, valuable ornaments. The thieves picked him up, they were going to plunder the ornaments. And then they were taking him to their hideout, and lo and behold, they arrived there in the courtyard of Jagannath Misra. They thought it was their hideout. It was a courtyard. Quickly they realized their mistake. They put Nimai down and secretly left. And Nimai enjoyed the tour of Navadip town, sitting on their shoulders as they were passing the Sandesh up, and he's enjoying the joyride. Yeah. He bewildered them. And then on another occasion, a mendicant came. He was offering his boga And Nimai coming in 3 times, he came in and ate that bogar. And of course, the mendicant, he didn't understand. Eventually, Nimai, he chastised that more mantra jopi. You're chanting my mantra, Mori Avahan. You are inviting me. Rohit na pariyami ashi tamashtan. How can I restrain myself? I come to accept your offerings. So he was coming and eating that, and then he, hi, and the child has spoiled the offering, and then eventually everyone was asleep. The sari of Nidra Devi, she brushed the cheeks of all the residents of Jagannath Mistra's home, and they all fell asleep in the middle of the night. And then Nimai came again, he started eating an offering, and then he showed Asta Bhuj Rup, 8-arm form. As a young child, he's crawling in and taking that rice. And then the Brahman, and then again, Brahman, you're calling me? And then he shows 8-armed form, Asta Bhuj Rup. He demonstrates. That's the Chatu Bhuj Rup, and also another 2 arms, the one eating yogurt, and the other one playing the flute. And the other 4 arms, Shankar, Chakra, Pada, Gada, are the 4 symbols of Lord Vishnu. He demonstrated, and then he told the Brahmin, don't tell anyone what you saw. You can stay here, see my pastimes, but don't tell anyone. The Ganga pastimes, he's enjoying so much, disturbing the Brahmins and Navadip. They couldn't take bath. They had to take bath 2-3 times. Nimai would throw sand on them, he would spit on them in the water, he would grab their legs, pull them under the water, disturb their chanting mantra. Steal their deities, steal their scriptures, steal their clothes, spit in their face. Who are you meditating on? Break their meditation, come up in the water, spit in their face. They're chanting in Gayatri, standing waist deep in Ganga, chanting Gayatri. Nimai appear, spit in the water in their face. Who are you meditating upon? I am the incarnation for the age. All his friends would laugh. Even the unmarried girls, they weren't spared. Kannada kohe, Ami Puja, Ami Devovar, Ganga Durga Dasimo, Mahesh Kingar. Kannada kohe said to the unmarried girls, Navadip, Kumaris, Ama Puja Devo, Ama Puja Kor, Ami Devovar, worship me, I will give benediction. Ganga Durga Dasi more. Ma Ganga and Ma Durga, they're my maidservants. Mahesh Kinga, Mahesh, Lord Shiva is my servant. Just worship me. Young child, 4 years old. Oh, Nimai, the girls of Chester, you speak such, don't speak such naughty, joking words. The same conclusions that Krishna establishes on the chariot, that Mataparatranam Nanya, Aham Savasya Prabhava, I am the source. Manmana, think of me. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam Namaskuru, in great opulence. Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya, in childhood play. Ami Deboba, Ama Puja Koro, like child, like playing games, childhood joking. Ballabha Prakatyo, Pashchat Lukai, Ballabha Prakat. And a child is just demonstrating his opulence as the Supreme Lord. And then Jagannath was so angry, they all came and complained. The Brahmins all got together, a big group, came and complained to Jagannath Mishra. And the girls, they came and complained to Sachi Devi. And then Jagannath Mishra, very angry, races to the Ganga with a big stick. Where is Nimai? And the boy says, he hasn't come today. What? How is this? Then he looks, he sees Nimai coming on another path. It's just like he's come from school, hasn't even been in the Ganga. How astonishing. He avoids being beaten. His father's got a stick in his hand. He avoids being beaten by demonstrating his mystic opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, simply enjoying the pastimes, the Vatsalya Ras. Is that Putra Darshanande, when he comes back, he climbs on the lap of Jagannath Mishra after coming back from the Ganga. He climbs on the lap. Putra Darshanande, Guchilo Bicha, Putra Darshanande. Seeing his child, Jagannath Mishra forgets everything. Guchilo Bicha, everything about the Ganga, the complaints, he completely forgot. Putra Darshanande, and the bliss of seeing his son. Sneha Punna Hoilo Duho Akichunne. They're completely absorbed in affection and love for Nimai. And in this way he enjoys his pastimes and incorporates his mystic opulence as his mystic powers as the Supreme Personality of Godhead to enhance those pastimes. So Ballabha Prakatiyo, up to 5 years old, and then Pashchat Lukai, after that he covers, and during the Vidya Lila as a scholar, as a student, subsequently he doesn't demonstrate his opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this goes on for several years actually, at least for more than 10 years. Nimai is enjoying the Vidyarash in Navadip Dham with his students. Prati Nogare Nogare, Sisigon Sangye, Prati Nogare Nogare, Sisigon Sangye, Sharba Navadipe, Vidyarash Krida Kore, Sharba Navadipe. All three Navadip, Prati Nogare Nogare, in every community, in every village, in every little Nogor, town, all around Navadip, little pockets of communities. Prati Nogare Nogare. Sishigon Shonge with his disciples and his students, Sishigon Shonge, Vidyarash, Krida Kore, enjoying the flavor of learning and defeating other scholars and in teaching. And this carried on actually, that he became such a scholar, such a famous scholar. In fact, all Navadip loved Nimai because of his brilliant scholarship. Sarva Navadipe, Sharva Lokoilo Dhoni, Nimai Pandit Oddapok Shiromani. Sharva Navadipe, all through Navadip, Sharva Lokoilo Dhoni, all you could hear from the lips of the residents. Nimai Pandit Oddapok Shiromani. Nimai Pandit is the Oddapok Shiromani, the crest jewel of the professors. And in this way, Nimai, as Navadip Chandra, the rising moon of Advijamani, the jewel of the Navadip Brahmins, he's enjoying. Can you imagine? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes, he's a scholar, what a scholar he was. And his eternal associates, they also appeared to participate in the Vidyarash. Murari Gupta, Krishnananda, they're also scholars, and the Navadip Brahmins, boys, and they're also engaged in the debating with Nimai. And all of the Srivas Pandit, they're older, but they're also great Brahmins. The Advaita Acharya, they're all scholars and Brahmins. Gadadhar Pandit, Prakasha Pandit, Srivas Pandit, Jagadananda Pandit, they're all Brahmins and scholars, and Nimai is a crest jewel, not only amongst his eternal associates, but all the scholars of Navadip. And in this way, he's enjoying his pastimes, just as Nanda Dulal enjoys going to the forest with the cows. It's not exactly giving the preaching Krishna consciousness, going to the forest with the cows, playing with the cowherd boys, having picnics, wrestling with them on the banks of Jamuna. It's not exactly teaching the world about Krishna and teaching the world philosophy of self, Atma Tattva. It's a lila. And similarly, in Navadip, he enjoys the lila of scholarship. As a cowherd boy, that's what cowherd boys do. And as Brahmins, that's what they do. They study, they debate, they discuss the Shastra and the other texts, and they enjoy their intellectual prowess. And Nimai was fully absorbed in that. And only up until he received the mercy of Srila Ishwarapuri Prabhupada, having gone to Gaya Dham with an apparent objective of performing Shraddha ceremony for his father, who passed away. He went to Gaya, went to the play. He saw the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu at Madhusudan, Gaya Dham, temple of Madhusudan. He became overwhelmed. That time, the pastimes of demonstrating love of Godhead, they began at that moment. And Ishwarapuri Prabhupada was there at that time. And then Mahaprabhu, he's taking shelter of Ishwarapuri Prabhupada. Toma dekli matro, koti pitrigon. Sheikone Sharva Banda Pai Bimochan. The whole conclusion of that Leela is that Tomar Dekle Matras, just by seeing you, Mahaprabhu is going there to perform the Shraddha as a Varnashram Dharma, Grihastha Dharma, Karma Kanda, Varnashram Dharma, to deliver ancestors from hellish condition. He's performing those ceremonies, engaging the priests, Shraddha. He sees Ishwarapuri Prabhupada, Tomar Dekleo Matro, just by seeing you, Koti Pitrigon, millions of ancestors, Shekhone, at that moment, when I saw you, Sharva Bonda, Pai Vimochon, they were delivered from all bondage, just by seeing you. So Mahaprabhu, in his Leela, he's establishing the conclusions of Bhagavad Bhakti. The attachment to the Lord, attachment to his devotee. That is Krishna Bhakti Korele Sharva Karma Krita Hoy. Vishwash Kohe, Shraddha Shabde, Vishwash Kore Suddhida Nishchoy, Faith means understanding with great conviction that Krishna Bhakti Korile, if you love Krishna, if you serve Krishna, Sarva Karma Krita Hoy, all other karmas, responsibilities, obligations are fulfilled. So developing attachment to a pure Vaishnava, that fulfills all the obligations of Karma Kanda. In fact, these different regulative activities described in the Vedas, they're meant to qualify you, to purify you, to bring you to a point where you can take full shelter and dedicate your life to a Vaishnava and become Krishna conscious. And when you do that, Jnanavan mam prapadyante, Jnanavan mam prapadyante, you surrender unto me, these preliminary activities. But Mahaprabhu is saying that your calm, your association, your preaching, seeing you, I've completed it. It fulfills all of these obligations. Just by seeing you, Shei Kone, Koti Pitrigon, Sharvabanda Pai Vimochon. Millions and millions of ancestors are delivered just when I saw you. So then Mahaprabhu comes back and he's unable to carry on with the Vidya Lila. He can't even sit and give the class. He falls off the asan. He comes to the class. In the beginning of the class, all the students, they sit, they chant Hari Hari, Hari Hari, in order to invoke auspiciousness for the beginning of their studies. When Goshunda hears them chanting Hari Hari, he becomes overwhelmed, the tears flowing from his eyes. He falls off the asan, can't give the class, goes into trance. So begins the Sankirtan movement. Also, we've discussed this. I think we discussed this a month or so ago. We'll come back to this topic next week, and we'll carry on to describe Mahaprabhu's activities, having returned from Gaya, and now beginning the Sankirtan Leela with his intimate devotees in Navadip. We'll be discussing those topics for next week and subsequent weeks. So Mahaprabhu, although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's performing the Vidya Leela, absorbed in studies, and then he becomes a Vaishnava, but still he's not actually manifesting his opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's a great Vaishnava. Parama Odbhut Kota Maha Shambhav Nimai Pandit Hoilo Parama Vaishnav. It's so wonderful. The younger brother of Srivas Thakur, Sriman Pandit, comes to the morning and the devotees are picking the flowers. You're so happy this morning? Yeah, Parama Odbhut Kota. The most amazing thing, most amazing news. Maha Shambhav, the impossible. Nimai Pandit, Hoilo, Parama Vaishnav. Nimai Pandit has become a great Vaishnava. Tears of love of Godhead are constantly, incessantly flowing from his eyes. He's rolling on the ground. He's waning in feelings of ecstasy when he's hearing the holy name and chanting and dancing in love of Godhead. So the devotees, they were greatly elated that Nimai had become a devotee and he was associating with them, and now Mahabhagavata, Nimai Pandit Hoila, Parama Bhagavat, Parama Vaishnav. And that went on actually for a couple of years. And Mahaprabhu, he's feeling that now is the time to manifest his knowledge, to demonstrate, to establish, to reveal his actual identity as the Supreme Lord, to encourage the devotees, to reveal to them his actual identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, further establish his mission of establishing the holy name as the Yuga Dharma. So he begins to manifest. And one evening, he called the devotees and said, we're not going to sleep for the next year. We're going to do kirtan all night. Yeah, kirtan all night. We have kirtan festivals, but Mahaprabhu Kirtan Festival are different, certainly on a different level. Every night, all night, kirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur. And that went on for a year. And it's not like in the morning after the Mangaladi, they all went completely, complete mess for the whole day. No, they went about their activities as usual during the day, and they stayed up all night, every night, for a year, doing the Sankirtan. So on one of these occasions, in the night, Mahaprabhu sat on the altar of Srivas Thakur, and he began to call the devotees and reveal secrets about their activities, indicating that he's the super soul, calling all the devotees who were present there. And that's an extraordinarily attractive Leela, which in due course of time we will discuss in detail in these sessions. That's chapter 9, Madhya Leela. We'll be on chapter 1 and 2 of Madhya Leela next week. So we'll come to this point in due course of time. And then Mahaprabhu began to consider, so first he's revealing his opulences to the devotees who are actually in the temple, in the house of Srivas Thakur, and then he began to consider the devotees who weren't present that evening, and the first person he thought of was Kolavecha Shita. And he spoke to the devotees, he said, go and bring Shrita, let him see my opulence. He's always thinking about me in separation. He said, this is text number 137 of chapter 9, Madhya Lila, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Thakur ki jai. So he says that Nogore Ante, go to the end of the village. Nogore Ante Gia, Nogore Ante Gia, go to the end of the village, Mayapur. Nogore Ante Gia, Takibo Boshia, Takia Boshia, and sit there. Jai More Dakiye. The one, when you hear More Dakiye, the one who's calling my name. Jai More Dakiya, the one who's calling out for me. Jai More Dakiya. Tare, Aniya, Doriya, you get him and you bring him here. So isn't this amazing that they ask, who is this Sridhar? Where do we find Sridhar? Mahaprabhu, he says, you go to the end of the village and then you'll hear, it's nighttime, you'll hear him. You'll hear him calling the holy name. You imagine you're going to meet a devotee, how are you going to find him? Well, you go into the neighborhood, you'll hear him calling the holy name, you'll follow the sound. So, fulfilling the order of the Lord, the devotees, they went to the direction of Sridhar's residence. Shai Sridharer Kichu Shunaho Akyan, that's Sridhar. Kichu Shunaho Akyan, listen to some of his qualities. Kolar, Poshar, Kori, Rake Nije Pran. He maintains his life by Kolar, Poshar, Kori, by selling bananas. He would buy a banana tree. I mean, banana trees are not a rare commodity in Bengal. Banana trees everywhere. And so those who are dealing in the products of the banana, they're not that particularly, it's not a very lucrative market. Banana everywhere. So you get one banana and then he'd cut the banana into pieces and he would sell the different pieces of the banana. Just like banana is the trunk, that's called tor, called a tor. There's the flower, it's called kola mocha. You can make sabji with that. You can make sabji with the trunk, called tor, called a tor. And then there's the bananas, kola. And then there's kola pata, the banana leaves. And they're all useful. Everything in the banana tree is used, actually. What a boon to humanity, the kola gach. In fact, sometimes we see on the river, the farmers, they take the kola gach, it goes quickly, then they cut the machete, cut, tie a few branches together, and they go like a boat. Tahate jaikichu hoy, Diboshe upar, in one day, how much profit he would make, tar odda ganga naibedya lage jai, he would use half of that profit to worship Ma Ganga. And this is very extraordinary. In ISKCON, we're dependent on, we're not independent. This Kolavecha Siddha, actually, he's in Nitya Siddha, he's an eternal associate of the Lord, but his devotion it's so strong. In ISKCON, we require so much the association of the devotees, without which very quickly our Krishna consciousness would diffuse, just like sparks from the fire. They separate from the fire and very quickly they're extinguished, like that. So in Krishna consciousness, we require the support of the Vaishnava Sangha, and that gives us inspiration, just like here. I probably wouldn't sit on Sunday morning and speak for an hour about Chaitanya Bhagavat unless you guys were listening. I wouldn't just do this just because to glorify the Lord, but because you're interested, that you're joining, then it inspires me, and so we reciprocate in that way. Sravanam Kirtanam, everything in ISKCON is like this. We have senior devotees, we have junior devotees. We follow the instructions of the senior devotees and we try to care for and inspire the junior devotees. In this way we're It's like accountability, actually. Where without that association, we would just lose our interest in Krishna consciousness. We don't have that internal development that just keeps us so fixed. We're so much dependent on the association of the devotees. That's why Prabhupada established a society, spread it all over the world. Just by coming and associating with the devotees, we'll advance in Krishna consciousness. Everything happens. We get service, we get everything. We get instruction, we get realizations, we get everything, opportunities, we get prasadam. Like Narottam Thakur, he sings that Tadara Charana Shevi, those who engaged in worshipping the lotus feet, serving the lotus feet of the six Gosamis, Tadara Charana Shevi Bhakta, Shone Bash, to sit beside them. Tadara Charana Shevi, those who are worshipping the lotus feet of the six Gosamis, Bhakta, Shone Bash, Shone, beside them, Bas, to sit beside them, to sit along with them. Janame hoy eyabilash. This is my desire, life after life. Narottam Das Thakur sings. So how important is. But here we see Vichwambara's exalted souls. Not that he has a sadhana card, he has to fill it out and post it every week on his, send it to his Shikha Guru. He's just, whatever he earns in a day, half of it he uses in the service of Ma Ganga. He makes offerings to Ma Ganga. And this is the particular quality of Vichwambara that so much attracted Lord Chaitanya. Mahasatyavadi Teho Jeno Yudhishthir, just like Yudhishthir. Mahasatyavadi means Satya, truth, Satyavadi, truthful. Maha, he was a extremely truthful person, a very truthful person. Mahasatyavadi. Teho, Jeno Yudhishthir, like Yudhishthir Maharaj. Ja Jeyu Mulla Bole Na Hoy Bohir. He would say the price of the goods and he wouldn't say more. He wouldn't say more. We foreign people, we go in India, and in India we go to the shop. When foreign people ask, the price is much more than the local. Because we don't know. We're comparing it to the foreign currency. Oh, that's so cheap. So, but this is just a standard practice in business. You try to sell the product for as much as you can. But Vichwambara, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't try to make more profit seeing an opportunity. He'd just sell the product for its actual value. And many people in the village in Mayapur, they were aware of this characteristic of Vichwambara, and so they preferred purchasing the goods from him. He had quite a lot of customers, because everyone knew that whatever price he said, that was the actual price, and people had great faith. Vichwambara. Morto Navadip Ache Mahoshai. In this way, such a great soul living in Navadip. Kolavecha Gyan Kori Kehuna Chinai. He was called the banana seller. Kolavecha. They just knew him as the banana seller. And no one could actually recognize his most exalted position. And he would spend the entire night engrossed in chanting the holy name of Krishna, forgetting everything. He'd spend the entire night. He couldn't sleep, because he had such attachment for the Lord and such attraction for chanting the name of the Lord. So the neighbors, the atheistic neighbors, they would complain that we cannot sleep at night because of Shraddha's screaming. The poor vagabond, he cannot fill his belly, and so out of hunger he remains awake at night, howling in the pangs of hunger. But Shraddha wasn't concerned by the criticism of the neighbors. He simply absorbed himself in worshipping the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, worshipping Ma Ganga, and go to the market and do his business and maintain himself in that way. So those devotees who had gone sent by Mahaprabhu to bring him into Mahaprabhu's presence, they'd only gone halfway. And then they could hear Shraddha chanting. So they were, Vichwambara, now his residence is just a little inside from Rajapur Jagannath Mandir. It's just a short, it's like less than 10 minutes. You walk through the fields there and you come to Shrida Angan. It's a small little shrine, actually. Shrine, a small little shrine. And that's where Shivas, and that's where Sridhar, Kolavecha Sridhar had his residence, his cottage. Actually, after the deliverance of the Chandkazi, actually we met, I remember several years ago, I met in Mangalore Yatra, and Chandkazi Samadhi, we met and spoke at that time. So after that Leela of delivering the Chandkazi, Mahaprabhu, he went to the house of he went to the home of Srivas Thakur, the cottage of Kolavecha Sridhar, and he walked there. So you can imagine you've got the Chandkazi Samadhi, and then you've got Jagannath Mandir, and then you go kind of like, if you would go directly, not along the road, but directly through the fields, then you'd come to Kolavecha Sridhar's residence before you reach Jagannath Mandir. And that's about the distance. So after the kirtan, after Mahaprabhu had performed the kirtan with his devotees and marching on the house of the Chandkazi, after that kirtan, Mahaprabhu took all the devotees and they went to Sridhar Angan, the home of Sridhar, Kolavecha Sridhar. And Mahaprabhu, he went into Sridhar's room, and there's a broken room there, broken roof, it would leak in the rain, and at the doorway there was a water pot, and it was so old and broken with holes and all rusted and old, even a thief wouldn't steal that water pot. And Mahaprabhu, he took that water pot and he drank water from that and danced in the courtyard of Kolavecha Sridhar. Nityananda and Advaita Prabhu were crying. And in this way, Mahaprabhu, the kirtan was going, Mahaprabhu picked up that iron water pot, drank the water. Sridhar exclaimed, I'm finished. Mahaprabhu, Sridhar lost consciousness. Mahaprabhu said, today my body has become purified because I have drunk the water from the pot, of Kolavecha Sridhar. Today, by drinking Sridhar's water, I have attained devotion for the lotus feet of Krishna. Vaishnaver jal paya Vishnu bhakti hoy. So when you drink the water, remnants of a Vaishnava, jal pane Vishnu bhakti hoy, you get devotion to Vishnu. Shabare bujaye Prabhu Garanga Sadai. Mahaprabhu was teaching the importance of Vaishnava Sheba, Vaishnava Shanga. So that happened at the time of the Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan, what Prabhupada describes as Mahaprabhu's civil disobedience movement. And Mahaprabhu went to the house of Kolavecha Sridhar at that time. So we can get an idea where it is. And then the market that he would go to sell the banana products, it must be somewhere, I'm not sure, somewhere in between, in that area, in between the Jagannath Mandir and the Chandkazi Samadhi, somewhere in between there, Kolavecha would. So they only had reached the halfway from Srivas Angan. Srivas Angan is a little, let's see, here we go, yeah, Srivas Angan is before. Baman Pukur is Kolavecha, is the Chandkazi Samadhi, so before that, Srivas Angan. So they went from Srivas Angan to, on direction of the Jagannath Puri, Rajapur Jagannath, halfway there. As Mahaprabhu said, go to the end of the village, halfway there they could hear the chanting of Kolavecha Sridhar. Cholo, cholo, and then they followed that sound. Cholo, cholo, Maharshai, Prabhu, Dekha Giye, come and see Prabhu. Cholo Cholo Maharshai, come and see Prabhu. Prabhu, Dekha Giya. Amra Kritatta Hoy Tomar Parashia. It's been our great fortune to come and meet you and touch you. Become purified in that way. So on this day they went and they got Kulai, and then they're bringing him back to Sri Bashangan, where Mahaprabhu is sitting on the Bhyasasan in the middle of the Astapraha Prakash. So today we won't complete this Leela, so we'll finish here, and next week we'll carry on and we'll describe the discussion that Mahaprabhu had with Kulai and the blessings that Mahaprabhu bestowed upon him. We'll discuss that in more detail next week. And so at this stage we'll put on the pause and we'll see if anybody has any questions. So if there are any questions on the topics today.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. Aditya Gopesha Prabhu, please unmute to ask questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there are pranams.
Go.
Prabhuji, could you please, Prabhuji, what is the name of the bhajan which you quoted in while explaining about Gorkishodas Babaji Maharaj?
Oh, that's Gurudev by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Is it Karuna na hoile, Gurudev by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Karuna na hoile, Kandiya prana na rakibo ar. Gurudev Kripa bindudiya kodoe dash chunapeka oti. Karuna na hoile, Kandiya prana na rakibo. How's that start? That Krishna said, Tomar Krishna dite par Tomar shakati ache. Then Karuna na hoile, Kandiya prana na rakibo ar. If you do not show your mercy upon me, I will no longer maintain my life.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there are pranams.
Hare Krishna Shivakumar, please unmute.
Mataji Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dana Pranam, Vanja Kalpatarabhisha, Krupasindhi Vacha Patata Nampanabo Ashtave Namana. Prabhuji, in first 3-4 weeks, I didn't understood any words from you, Prabhuji, but still it was a nectarine. But now, nowadays, I am understanding your language. Thank you for your beautiful lectures, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Hare Krishna Archana Prashant Shetty. Hare Krishna. Please unmute. Hare Krishna. Shalini Singh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for your beautiful lecture, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to understand, Krishna never comes alone. He never comes without Radha Rani. And in case of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm not able to explain, I'm not able to understand how Radha is accompanying Lord Chaitanya, Prabhuji.
that's an interesting question. Well, Mahaprabhu, he's a combined form of Radha and Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahe Anna. The Radha and Krishna, actually Krishna, he expands in the form of Sri Radhika, is his Antaranga Aladini Shakti, pleasure potency. He expands and he enjoys pastimes with Sri Radhika. And then Mahaprabhu is a combined form of Radha and Krishna. So it's Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Krishna, when he accepts the mood of Radharani and loving himself as a Supreme Lord and experiencing the mellows of love, Radha Bhav, that Sri Radhika feels, in the mood of Radharani, he assumes the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in that way, in the Panchatattva, Radha and Krishna are there in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also Garada Pandit, he's also another expansion, a further expansion of the internal potency of the Lord Sri Radhika. And Garada Pandit also, he serves in different ways, Mahaprabhu, to further enhance Mahaprabhu's mellow of accepting the mood of Sri Radhika, Garada Pandit. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is combined form of Radha and Krishna and Garada Pandit. And this way, Panchatattva, Prabhupada explains that he appears in the 5 forms in order to perform Sankirtan with his associates. He preaches and he performs his pastimes with his associates. Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam Shango Pangastra Parshadam. He appears along with his associates. And that's all of that's Panchatattva Krishna, the Supreme Lord Krishna, Bhakta Rupa. He himself appears, Krishna assumes the form of a devotee, Bhakta Rupa. Swarupakam, his first expansion, Lord Nityananda. Bhakta Avataram, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, is and Sadashiv is Advaita Acharya Thakur. Gadada Pandit is incarnation of internal potency, Sri Radhika, and Shrivash Thakur is incarnation of the devotee. In this way, Mahaprabhu complete. All energies are manifest in the Panchatattva, and Mahaprabhu, he appears along with his associates to enjoy the Sankirtan pastimes.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So actually, it was not in Pashtattva form. Radharani was not in Pashtattva form. It was in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself.
I didn't quite get the word that you said, but anyway, he's in here. Radharani is Mahaprabhu, is combined form of Radha and Krishna.
Combined. Ji, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna Archana. Hare Krishna.
Hello, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I have a question because now we are near to Bhishma Panchaka. Just give us some description how to do that Prata, Prabhuji. We don't have any idea.
Just search on the Google, Bhishma Panchak, how to perform. You'll get all the information. There's different ways you can follow. You can take Ekadasi Prasadam, or roots and fruits. Roots and fruits like potatoes, sweet potato, dates, roots and fruits, and probably peanuts also. You can eat that for 4 days. Or you can go for Havishanna, that's rice cooked in ghee with potato. You can take that. But I won't go into all the details. You just Google, do a search, Bhishma Panchak Vrata. There's so many people posted details on how to follow on the different ways you can do Bhishma Panchak. All the best with that. We pray that your performance of Bhishma Panchak Vrata is successful. Look forward to your association.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Vanchagal Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees, for joining. Hare Krishna.